Hi everyone, welcome to my station, Chats with Flo. I give self-improvement advice for your everyday life. I have lived my whole life with self-doubt and insecurities. Maybe a year or so more ago, I made up my mind that I was not going to live the rest of my life like that. One of the main disadvantages of self-doubt and insecurities is that it actually stops you from reaching your goals. I'm getting ready to turn 50 years old. Every decade of my life, I kind of examine myself. And when I think about my life, how that I could have been so much further in my life if I would have overcame self-doubt and insecurity years ago. And the reason why I say that, because when you have self-doubt and insecurities, it actually stops you from reaching your goals. And if you don't reach your goals, your life is not going to change. The main way that self-doubt hinders you is that you're going to think that you can't achieve your goal. You're going to always feel like you're not good enough. If you deal with self-doubt, make sure you watch the rest of this video, because I'm going to share 7 tips with you of how to overcome self-doubt and insecurities. Self-doubt just don't pop up in your life overnight. It has to do with your past. As a child, I was very shy. Shyness itself can hinder you, and the reason why is because you hate to put yourself out there. Don't want to be seen, which is fine. But there will be times in your life to where you have to be out in the front line. I was born in 1970. So during the 70s and the early part of the 80s, I was a child. And back then it was a disadvantage to be dark-skinned. I can remember, I think during that time I was maybe like 12 or 13 years old. It was a group of girls, and me and this one other girl was the darkest in the group. And they would always push us to the side and giggle and make jokes because we were dark skinned. Even guys, they actually preferred the lighter skin tone. I have heard many of them say that they don't date dark skinned girls. So just that right there, it actually started my insecurity, because from the fact that I didn't like my skin. I didn't like the color. I wished that I was brighter, because I felt that if I was brighter, I would be prettier. One of my main hindrances was that I didn't have an education. So whenever I was around someone else that was smarter than me, I always would feel intimidated. So when I look over my life, I do understand now where the insecurities came from. Think about it. I was insecure about my complexion. I was insecure about not being smart. I was insecure about being shy. I wasn't outgoing. All of that carried over to my adulthood. And over the years, it's like, instead of self-doubt getting better, it kind of got worse. And so that's what really motivated me to get my GED, to go to college, is because I didn't want to feel intimidated around other people that I felt that was smarter than me. So even though I did get my GED and I did go to college, I still suffered with insecurity. In my career, I experienced so much racism, and you won't understand it unless you've been through it. But when you know that you are being treated a certain way just because of your skin color, it can really tear you down. And if you don't watch it, it can make you feel like you don't have any worth. Because I am the type person that I believe in doing my best. I believed in working overtime. I was dependable. I did a great job. To be honest, it's like My performance would always be better than my superiors, but I always got looked down on, talked down to, and it was only because of my race. So I had a lot of build up in me, a lot of things that happened to me as a child and even in my adulthood. And it kind of like just tore my self-esteem down even more. But a year and a half ago, I decided that I didn't want to live my life in self-doubt anymore because I knew that it hindered me. And I knew that in order for me to reach my destiny, that I would have to believe in myself, that I would have to let go of all of those insecurities. Tip number 1, exercise. Exercise helps to build your self-confidence. It makes you feel good on the inside because of the fact that you are doing something to better yourself. And anytime you're doing something to better yourself, it makes you feel good. It's good for your health. It's good for stress. And it really makes you feel good when you put on your clothes and they fit you the right way. Tip number 2, watch your self-talk. Pay attention to the way that you feel and think about yourself. Tell yourself good things. Tell yourself that you are capable, that you are valuable, that you can do anything that you put your mind to. Tip number 3, change your thinking. Change the way you think about yourself, especially whenever you get ready to learn something new. Instead of imagining the worst scenario happening, imagine a good outcome. Think positive thoughts about yourself on purpose. You become what you focus on. So make sure you are focusing on positive things. Think about what you want to accomplish. When you think about what you want to accomplish, it does motivate you. It inspires you to find a way to achieve that particular goal, whether it's losing weight, learning a new skill, bettering yourself. All of those are positive thoughts. Tip number 4, face your fears. Once you start facing your fears, it builds your confidence. I think about myself and how that whenever I face one of my fears, once I face it, I always end up thinking, you know what? It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Every time you face one of your fears, it empowers you and it also builds your self-esteem. Tip number 5, change your environment. Some people that you hang around, and even sometimes it comes from your family. Some of our family that we hang around can make you feel that you can't do it or you can't accomplish this goal or that you should do something else. You have to learn how to block out the negativity, block out the noise. Sometimes I would say that it's even good when you're getting ready to try a new task. Keep it to yourself. Just do it. And once you do it, then share it with your loved ones. Tip number 6, practice. The more you practice, the better you become. It takes time to be great at something. It doesn't come overnight. One of the main things is that you have to learn how to be persistent. I'm a musician, and when I first started out playing, I didn't have no confidence at all. I felt like every time I got ready to play in church that I was going to mess up. And I finally realized that I just needed to practice. In order to have a good outcome or to be good at something, you have to put the time in. Tip number 7, think about the obstacles that you have overcame. When I think about how that as a teenager, I dreamed of going to college. I dreamed of how it would feel sitting in a classroom. I dreamed of being able to decide what I wanted to become. But at first, all it was just a dream. But once I achieved those goals, it made me feel so much more confident. It made me feel so much more empowered. Now I am finally in a place to where when I get ready to learn something new, whether it's a difficult song that I'm trying to learn how to play on the keyboard, whether it's getting up in front of people, which was one of my number one fears, I'm not as afraid anymore. I tell myself that you can do it and you're going to do fine. So I challenge you to put yourself out there. Don't limit yourself. Don't pay attention to self-doubt. Tell yourself that you can do it. I hope you enjoy this topic and I hope it helped you. If it did, please leave me a comment at the bottom. And also, if you were insecure and you overcame it, leave a comment at the bottom to encourage others as well. Thank you for tuning in to Chats with Flo. Have an awesome day. Bye.